Hey guys, it's been a couple of weeks, but I'm back. So today we're going to be building a Roman insula. So we got a nice little Roman city in progress. Random stuff that I've been building in my free time, the very little free time I have. But yeah, so the idea is this is going to be filling in all this lovely area, and I want to build a small insula in this area. Now, if you don't know what an insula is like it was like a Roman apartment block. So in one of the older cities that I've shown before on this channel, there are a couple of insulas over there. There's a couple of insulas over here, there, everywhere, and insulas were quite popular or quite common in particularly ancient Rome because, millions and millions of people lived in them. They were, anyway, very, very derpy commentary, but what we're going to be building is we're going to be building something like this today. So it's basically a Roman apartment building, and this one I'm building, it's got 2 floors. It could have 3 floors, mind you. It looks like it should do, but I've got 3 floors. No, sorry, I've got 2 floors on this one, even confusing myself. But as I almost kill myself with a trapdoor. But yeah, it's got an upstairs, it's got a downstairs, it's got space for some shops. And the one I'm going to build, I'm going to try and put like a shop, something, a wine shop, carpet shop, I don't know. And the main thing we're going to be using is the only smooth quartz and terracotta, as well as some polished granite. Now, I'm really sorry about this one again, because it's expensive materials, but here we go. So, amazing, first blocks. Now, I need to kind of remember how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to place some terracotta in a grid-like pattern in this. And I've done it wrong already, which is great. So, to explain, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2. Let's go back to the start a bit. So, I've got 2 on the right, I've got 3, 3, and 2. And I've got 2 block gaps. Okay, 2 block gap there. 3, 2, 3, 2, 2. There you go, corner. You're going to turn it there. So as you can see, and make sure to pause the video because I'm going to go a bit faster. 3, 2, 3, 2, 2 in the corner. Turn it. 3, 3, 2. Happy days. Lovely. So pause the video. Just make sure that you're following along. If you want to build it with me, you can do. I'm not going to provide a world download because I want you to build it yourself. But no, and I'm really sorry, I'm going to use a little while of it here, just so we don't spend years and years. So I'm going to use a base of sandstone on this one. You could do whatever. And then some polished granite, or this is not granite. Is this granite? This is granite, yeah. Polished granite underneath in the doorways, and the window ways, mind you. They're both windows and doors. And the idea is that you build this out in a grid. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to build this in a grid, build it as a big square shape with some windows and some doors, and then you can move the doors and windows wherever you want them. So I'm going to go up again with some terracotta. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And there you go. So we're going to have 2 high there, and you get like a red band underneath, as you can see here, and it's going to go inside on the other one. So this is our example that I've already built before. The one I'm going to build is going to be a bit different to this, but it's the same idea, basically. You got 2 high, then you're going to have some quartz pillars, a lot of smooth quartz. I'm really sorry if you're going to try and build this in survival. Not much I can do about that, but maybe you can use some wool or something like that. So we're going to come in a bit. I think that's 5 from the edge, 4 from the edge. Yeah, it's 4 from the edge. And as I do it wrong again. And I'm going to build upwards with some quartz pillars, and you get I'm going to have a shape like this. So you get an internal courtyard, something like that, and that's how it's going to keep the building cool, by the way. And I'm just going to basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and have it so I've got 3 apartments on the ground floor that extend into the upstairs, and then I have 1 shop corner. So we're going to have 3 2-floor apartments, double height, like duplexes, and then I'm going to have a corner. Now, typically, I mean, these things were, you know, you would access through this internal courtyard here, the upstairs, you know, but it doesn't really have any room to do that. So, yeah. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come at 4 from that. Yeah, so you can see we're going to come up basically 4 blocks from the top as I make it a bit lighter because it's just getting way too dark. But yeah, build up 4 with your smooth quartz blocks, like so. I'm going to come up this way. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, you get the idea. Some more old school counting. Back at school. 1, 2, 3, and basically, yeah. I'm going to fill all of this in, and make this a bit taller. Now, this is the absolutely massive ground floor, in hindsight, because, you know, realistically, you'd want to maximize the space rather than having a ridiculous double height space in your insula. But it's Minecraft. It's not actually very realistic. I mean, I try and like build things that are somewhat grounded in real life. You know, with actually like being a real life person who designs buildings, but it is also a game, so it doesn't have to be realistic. And then what I'm going to do here, as I'm just kind of doing this while I'm not explaining anything, I'm going to fill in these with some slabs, some spruce slabs, but we're going to place this on top of that block, at the top of it. Now I'm going to take some stairs and I'm going to make a window. So I'm going to make a window in the middle there. And I'm going to do this on top of all of our spruce slabs. Like so. And you're basically, you're basically going to get like this. The issue is with this, if you wanted to make this a 3-story and you wanted to have like the second story in where these windows are, is that it kind of looks a bit dodgy, to be honest. I mean, also, if you are in need of space, you have the extra space, of course. Well, yeah, I'm using it as like a thing that gets some light into the house, flat, apartment, whatever we're going to call it, building. And then just finish this off the top. So again, the only smooth quartz, very bright, very white, quite blinding actually in this shaders pack, but it looks really nice. And what's going to be nice here is I've now got some amazing space for some gardens. So I wanted to set this back from these houses here because, you know, this guy, the guy across the road, and the other guy as well, or all of the guys and girls across the road, might want a bit more space. So yeah, I'm just going to finish this off here. Again, as you can see with like a lot of these Roman builds that I do, I kind of like to operate off of a pattern, because in a way, like when you look at, sorry, just quickly, I'm just going to come up four up here with quartz pillars. But basically, as I was saying before, is that what's quite useful with a lot of these Roman builds is that if you put 2 blocks underneath of a coloured accent block at the bottom, that gives you some privacy at the street view, and then you have white. So if you have that colour and then some white above that, and then maybe another colour, you get kind of a Roman look to it. But then also operating on grids, because the Romans were very much, orderly. Well, they like to say that they were orderly people. Lots of rules, and their buildings reflect that. As I'm just going to build some arches. So I'm just taking some upside down brick stairs, some slabs, and I'm going to just make an arch. Now the thing is that like I'm getting this archway from a sort of I don't know if anyone has seen some of these some of the ruins of the insulas. There are actually very few ruins of insulas about. There are a few knocking about in ancient in actual like modern day Rome. And in other cities, but you get these like archways that are made of brick that are embedded into the facade. But I can't do that here, so I'm just going to put it on the outside. And then again here, I'm just filling in this. It's going to come right to the top. But here actually, on the internal courtyard, I mean, you can add windows. You don't have to add windows. It's really up to you. Again, this is, it's Minecraft. You can really do what you want. I'm going to add some windows actually. What's the point of having a beautiful courtyard with a little bit of water in it if you can't see it from your apartment that you are renting from some Roman warlord who, yeah. Fantastic. So yeah, you got your nice internal courtyard. And as you see with the one that I've already built, this is going to keep the flats or apartments cool in the summer with the water pool on the inside. So it's not unbearable in the summer. So we're going to have some balconies that are going to stretch out. Now, these are balconies where you can, I mean, a lot of these we've built balconies before. I've got a bit of an obsession with balconies and that sort of thing. Actually going to add some entrances in the courtyard. But basically what you're going to do, I'm going to take some polished diorite stairs, take them upside down on top of these brick arch things, all the way around the outside, like so. Nice. Then I'm going to take polished diorite on top of all of these. And it is also, what I quite like to do with a lot of these things, with some of the more ancient builds, is that a lot of it's very formulaic, and in modern architecture we're a bit less. I mean, we still use like formulaic repetition like this, but particularly ancient Greek architecture. And I have a horror. What is going on? I'm gonna have to try and fix this. There's a terrible lag spike. Okay, so I fixed the lag spike. So, as I was saying before, a lot of the things that were built with the Romans and the Greeks, and then later into more neoclassical and Renaissance, a lot of it is repetition, and a lot of it is beauty through repetition. And the Romans were, you see with like their temples, their houses, the Colosseum, for example, it's the same shape repeated in a circle, basically. Whereas in the modern day, we don't really see that as much. When you look at things like the Guggenheim Museum, it's less repetitious, repetitive, should I say, repetitious. Anyway, so yeah, what I'm doing is I'm making a balcony here, regardless of all the waffling. And there you go. Happy days. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one, the only, smooth quartz, nice and smooth, on top. And I'm going to actually extend over the corners here because it adds another layer of depth to your balcony area. Now this balcony, I'm only going to make it 1 block wide because I'm not having it as like some leisure balcony where you can have a party out here, because quite frankly, that's probably not what the neighbours want. Just something where you can sit outside and you can hang outside and stand outside, and you can hang your clothes when it's summertime. Or you can peep on the neighbours. I mean, it really depends on what your personality is. That was I can imagine that was a big pastime of people being nosy back in the day. Now, as you come inside, you can see that I quite like to indent my ceilings in these more Roman and Greek, Hellenistic periods, early Roman period, whatever we want to call it, ceilings, where I like to kind of put some upside down stairs just to add a bit of depth into the ceiling. Now, it's a sort of thing where if you've got a bit of a messy room layout, it makes it look messy, whereas if you've got like a tall ceiling, it actually looks quite good. But again, it's personal preference. You can really put whatever you want. If you're building this in survival, I just wouldn't bother with the stairs. But again, if you're building this in survival, it's going to be a long day. But yeah. So I'm just going to make a grid. So I'm making a grid, and then I'm just going to put some upside down spruce stairs in these. I'm going to come back and fix this later, probably in part 2, because we're going to have to make this 2 parts here. It's going to be an hour long if I do it in all one part. Good thing he's in creative mode, because he would die there. So yeah, I'm just going to fill in these with the upside down spruce stairs. It looks like there's joists in the ceiling. It looks like it's kind of it's got some structure to it. It looks a bit more textured. It looks quite nice, I think. But if you don't like it, don't put it there. And then any walls that we've not filled in, I'm just going to fill these in with the smooth quartz blocks again. And as you can see, we have some big tall spaces. Now I'm going to put some iron trapdoors here. This is going to be something like, you know, some shape that is indicating some structure, and then the same here. I'm going to have 2 indents in the ceiling. I imagine these being painted with something in a different material in the indent, but can't do that, sadly. And there you go. That is the basic shape of your first floor. Now, what you can do here is, this is kind of like a bit of a, you know, it's a bit of an odd thing to do, I'll be honest, because we don't actually have any windows or doors, like designated windows or doorways in these. It just looks like a bunch of doorways. So how I'm going to get around this is I'm going to do something where I'm going to take, you know, doors that are not on the outside. So this is kind of like the wrong way to do it with these, because you're going to have to place them on the inside like this. And this is really fiddly because you have to place them a couple of times to get the doors right. And you place a couple of spruce trapdoors or something, and then you get this panel which has some doors in it that can open. So you can use these for your front door, and then whatever. And then if you're going to have them opening to a shop like I am here, then you can open them like that. So then here is where I'm going to just put some bamboo screen thing, trapdoor. There you go. You can have a nice corner shop. I'm going to remove this door. Sorry if you've built that, but I'm going to remove it. Makes more sense because, you know, it's a corner shop. And then for the apartments, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bamboo trapdoors and I'm going to make these as like window screens. So on these ones, window screens, for the moment, I'm going to come back and change these because it's going to be a garden. But for the moment, for demonstrative purposes, I'm going to do that. And then we're going to do the same with the spruce doors. Oh, I just made a mess there. Sorry about that. And then some spruce trapdoors. Now this makes like this kind of nice panel. When you look on the outside, it looks nice. It's indented from the wall. It does have the con of taking up space from the inside. Now, I'll be honest, this probably isn't the most practical survival build that ever existed. You know, I think some of the houses that I've built before in tutorials are probably a bit more practical. This is not. You could just build this completely hollow as well. You know, I think this would be quite a good mob farm. I've not built a mob farm in like 15 years. But you could do that. Would be a good one. Maybe, I don't know. You guys tell me. I could be totally wrong. But you kind of get the idea. You get the idea. It's a doorway. It's a doorway into the ground floor apartment. Sometimes, you know, you can get them blocked off in the alleyway, like I've done here, so you can't actually get into this house anymore. This back apartment. But oh well. They can figure it out another way. But again, it's Minecraft. You know, you can use your imagination a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make it a bit lighter because we can't see anything. But I'm going to build the upstairs after I finish these doors, because we've got to do all of these. So again, I'm just going to fill this in like so. Now this one actually, to be fair, this is a total accident. I was meant to move this. I was going to build this over here and then maybe move it later. Total accident. But what might be quite nice here is that I have a doorway. This is going to open out and I can have a nice pathway to here. And the guy with his nice house across the road, he's not going to be so annoyed that the block of flats, Insula sort of thing. I mean, it's not really, you know, a clarification on this. My understanding of an insula is not a block of flats, it's a just city block. So this would work as an insula because it's a city block. But an insula is also just a city block. So conglomerate of houses. history nerds in the comments, please let me know if I'm wrong about that. Yeah, people would probably know much better than I do. And I'm gonna have a nice little garden here. Cool. And it's nicely set back, so you get this nice passageway through this street, which looks a bit more residential. And I'm just going to put these screens in again. It looks, I think the bamboo trapdoors in the shader pack, I think this is one of the best things that they've added to the game. It just looks so nice, and the little shadows that you get through them just look so nice. It looks like some sort of papyrus weave screen that you would see in like Egypt or Greece or something like that. It just looks really nice. Now, also a thing with these screens and these doors, you can really place them wherever you want. I mean, it's really dependent on where your entrances are going to be, where your windows are going to be. I'm going to show an example of an interior of this at the end of the video. I'm not going to do the full interior in this video because I think that these spaces are a bit more flexible than just like a set interior. You can fill the whole bottom floor with just storage, to be honest. Then you can have like 2 apartments upstairs, or you can make it like a barracks or something like that, really to like let you guys really imagine what you could put up there. I'm just going to come and show you the top floor. So I'm going to take some blocks from what's already been built. As you can see, we've got something that's about 4 blocks tall here in quartz. It's got some spruce, and then it goes into a shallow pitched roof. So I'm going to go and do another grid. So I've got 4 blocks of quartz, gap of 3, then I'm going to do a gap of 4, like that, and a gap of 3, like so, like this. And again, it's, it's super formulaic. Is a grid, basically, is a grid. Like this, 4 blocks, 3 blocks. Looks quite nice as well. And what is good about it is that it's aligned with the downstairs columns that basically form the downstairs of the building. Like so. Pause the video if you need to check the alignment, if you're building it along with me. And there you go, it's kind of now forming a nice street that you can walk along, and you get a nice view down this street. But what's good about these is that you can, more so to just show you how these things are built rather than to do it as a tutorial, is that you can build these in like, I've got it as like 3 archways by 3, as I'm just going to go and check how I built this before. Yeah, so I've got 3, I've got some windows, I've got some doors. Okay, so basically, as you can see, this is quite repetitive, how the windows are done. But what I was saying before is that you could build these as like, 4 archways by 4 archways. You can do it 6 archways by 3. You could really make this as big as you want, and then you could adapt it to a city block that you have, which might be kind of interesting. I mean, I could maybe show this in a future video, where I've adapted this. And as you can see, I'm just building some things. So where I'm leaving 3, a gap of 3, I'm going to make a door. Where I'm leaving a gap of 2, I'm going to make a window, basically. And I'm using smooth quartz again. This is perhaps not the most survival-friendly build, I'll admit. However, it is, for those people who really do love their survival mode, this is going to be an expensive build to show off to your friends. They'll be like, where do you get all this stuff from? So if you've got an excess of quartz, this is the one for you. And again, I'm just going to add some spruce planks. I'm going to do the mangrove trapdoors as our window shutters. Place them on the bottom and the top, or underneath the block, should I say. Like so, like so. Filling in holes. It's a good weekend pastime. Yeah, I'm not going to elaborate on that, to be honest. So yeah, mangrove door. And we're going to fill in all of these doorways. Fantastic. And some smooth quartz blocks. So these are going to come all the way along the bottom here, and this is going to form a window into the impluvium. That's what we're going to call it, or what it should be called technically. But basically, when it rains, water gets drawn into the center, it gathers there, and then on a hot day, in theory, there would still be water there. It would cool down the rest of the building. And there you go. Just got to change the time again. That may be a bit dark. 3,000 is probably best. So yeah. So you kind of get the idea. We get the idea of how we're going to do this. Now, for the next bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come inside and I'm just going to show an example of how I've done this before. And in terms of like the apartment sizes, is kind of what I was showing. Is that, you know, you're not going to be able to. You can equally split up these apartments, but you can't split them up equally in terms of it being slap bang in the middle of the two doorways between the apartment upstairs units, should I say. So they're going to be slightly off-centered. So I'm going to show you this, just how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to set it off on one of the doors, keep it consistent, and then there you go. Pause the video if you want to just get yourself orientated again. And this is kind of like the idea that I'm using for this. Now, you know, realistically, the shop is not going to have an upstairs to it because, you know, I don't know, it might not do. So I might change this later. Now, for this like spruce ledge that goes in between the quartz and the bricks, I'm going to place some spruce planks. So I'm going to place them on top of the quartz pillars, but I'm going to place a corner with 2x2. I mean, it's not exactly a 2x2, but you get what I mean. From the edge. Now, on the inside, I'm going to kind of play around with a couple of things like so. And then on top of these, we're just going to fill in with the spruce planks. Now, in this ceiling, I'm not going to do the upside down stairs in the ceiling. It's a bit too cramped for it to look nice in here, I think at least. I mean, you could do it. Now, this, I'm going to try and do something where you basically put some upside down stairs and you get like it looks like a full block in the middle, if you see what I mean. So it splits that up. I don't know. I mean, you could just do like, you know, the upside down stairs normally all the way across. It's up to you really. But I'm going to do this. It looks quite cool. You get like a nice, as I said before, you get like a nice full block effect. And it splits up between the two upstairs apartments on that facade. Like so. You know, that looks quite good. I'm quite happy with that. That looks quite good. I hadn't actually tried that out on the one that I've built before, but it might work on the inside. I don't know if it'll actually work on the inside. We'll see. You know, I'm just going to run with this. I'm going to see if this works because, you know, it might work, it might not. I've got less of a positive feeling about this one on the inside, but yeah, I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I'm not quite sure. I think it doesn't look as good because you've got like, you know, it doesn't meet the corners. I don't know. Because I know with the other one, because I've done it on this one, you know, I've got the fence gates, I've got the slabs on the inside. Yeah, I actually think that this looks a bit better. So yeah, I'm really sorry if you built this already and you're building along with me, but yeah, I'm gonna change it again. I'm sorry. Yeah. Goodbye, stairs. Welcome back, stairs. I apologize if you're not watching with headphones or something. It's going to be, you know, kind of a bit of a strange commentary for this one. So for our roof, bricks. You're going to put some bricks all the way along the top, and this is a full block, as you can see. And same on the outside. So you're going to take some full block of bricks all the way around the outside. Yeah. All the way around the outside. Like so. And then, yeah. Obviously, as we've done before, I've done this before in other houses, you can place like a slab on the outside. Now, it's a sort of thing where, you know, I think more realistically speaking, you wouldn't have such a big overhang on your building like this. I mean, in terms of like drawings I've seen of people who are better experts than I am on historical, or particularly Roman and Greek stuff, you wouldn't have such an overhang, but then also it just looks a bit flat in Minecraft without it. I'm going to fill in the ceiling. Yeah, because I actually think it looks a bit better with the full block ceiling in here. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about, you know, the full block ceiling or the upside down stairs. If you think it looks better with upside down stairs, if you think it looks better with the full blocks, if it's actually just, you know, it might be just a personal preference thing. I think it looks good in some occasions. Some occasions it doesn't look good and it's just way too messy. So yeah. So I'm going to take some full blocks here. This is a super simple roof. Super simple roof. I'm not even going to mess it up. What you could do, what would be really cool, and you know, I don't know if I might actually try this out in the future, but you could blow up a bit of your roofs with some explosives, and you could make it a bit ruined. So one of your top corner flats or apartments or wherever someone's living has collapsed, and your roof would be half collapsed, but everyone else is living there. Could be quite a cool idea. I don't know. I might do it. I might not. We'll see. We'll see when I finish this city of such. So what I'm going to do, I quite like doing this, where it makes the overhang look less obvious and adds a bit of structure to your overhang, is you put some spruce fence gates. You fill in the edge, like so, and then you whack them all in. It's really satisfying. You just missed it. If you can do all of them in one row, like this, and then you can whack them all, and you do it perfectly, it's so satisfying. It's a sort of thing where if you've had like you've had a long day, you're a bit tired, knocking in fence gates, perfect. Like so. And it also, if you're doing it in shaders, it gives you a really nice shadow. Now, you know, I know most people don't really care about the shadows. I quite like them, to be fair. How the little shadows go, it looks really nice. Yeah. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is, this is going to be the kind of last step in this first part of this build, because we are running well into over half an hour. You know, if you've got this far in the video and you're still building with me, if you're still building with me, I congratulate you. This is like kind of a tough one. It's a long build to do. It's quite a big one as well. But yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to split up these balconies. So I'm just going to take a bamboo screen or bamboo trapdoor screen, and I'm going to split up the balconies between the different apartments. And then in the corner, or in the corners, or in the front, I'm going to put a grassy, leafy pergola shade sort of thing. Now, the basic idea is you're just going to take some leaf of some sort. I'm going to take some flowering azaleas, and you're going to do something like this. It looks quite nice. It basically, if you don't do this, you can add loads of bushes if you're not patient enough to, and like that's also, you know, I'm hardly patient enough to do this. So, but you could just whack a bunch of leaves about. You could put some cauldrons with leaves. I think these look quite nice. It adds another dimension to it. It adds a bit of shade. You can imagine that, like in the summer, if someone's you know, they're drinking some wine on the balcony and they're shaded with the candles, and I don't know. That's kind of my idea of ancient Mediterranean cities. You can do another one here. You could do a really big one as well, to be honest. But yeah, it looks really, really nice. These ones, I think. Like so. And you kind of see, like, I think it's a sort of boring shape, like, because it's a box. I mean, basically, these, I mean, at the end of the day, all houses are boxes, right? It's what you add on the outside that makes it look less like a box, you know. And, you know, it's kind of like people, isn't it? You know, everyone at the end of the day is a person. But, you know, it's the clothes that they put on, or the hairstyle they have that, you know, makes them look unique. In some occasions, you know, I don't know. That's a really bad analogy, but you get what I mean. So if you just like kind of put some cauldrons, some leaves in your cauldrons, you can whack some pots outside, and it really brings it to life. It's a sort of thing where, you know, you can imagine the type of people that live in the apartments. Like, you could have one guy, he has, I don't know, he's got like a chariot parked outside. You think, oh, he's a nice fella. Or someone's got some, you know, gardening outside, you know, there'd be a nice neighbour. Someone who's got some wine outside, or maybe, you know, there'll be good fun, but they might be a bit rowdy after 10 o'clock. I'm just going to fill these in. The thing is that you can access these balconies from both sides. You could remove some of the window, or some of the door, and add some more windows on your balcony. But yeah, cool. So yeah, I'm just going to fill in this pathway. You're going to have a side alley in here. But basically, this is the first part of this building. Yeah, so you can see your alleyway is going to run back, and you can access your houses, like so. So this is the first part of this building. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. The next part, I'm going to be doing some of the interior and some of the exterior. So yeah, really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.